this episode of Gunman. So this video here is part 5 on my VL Turbo project. I'm going to start off by giving you guys a look at the underbody protection and how I'm going to stop this boot floor that I welded in the previous episode from rusting out again. We're then going to go on to where I'm up to on this project, and I doubt many people will be guessing the next step. However, it is the right step and I've made the wise decision. Anyway, I've gone around all those edges where the welds are and I've put the seam sealer around there just in the caulking gun, squirted it in, and then just got a 1-inch brush, little 1-inch brush, and just brushed it around the edges. I did that the night before, let it dry overnight. There was 1 or 2 little spots that I'd missed, and I just spotted those little bits up. Make sure we're not going to get any water in there later on. That stuff, you don't necessarily have to leave it for very long. I've used it and then painted straight over it, and it's totally fine, and you never really have any issues. If you're using a good quality sealer, there are crap sealers out there. There was this one that we just needed some sealer, and the place around the corner just had this car system on it. It was total garbage, so don't bother with most of the car system stuff. Just cheap stuff, and it really doesn't last. You can see I'm using the just stone guard. There's a couple of different options that you can use under here. There's actual body chutes or body deadeners, but we just had this stone guard. It's a solvent-based stone guard. I prefer the solvent-based ones myself. The water-based ones, obviously, if there's any exposed bare metal there, you're going to have to put primer over it first, because water and metal equals rust, so it's just going to rust straight back out. And then a water-based one, I'd probably also want to put some paint over the top of it too, because it may not hold up to the environment as strong as the solvent-based one would. And all you do is just put that solvent-based stuff over, and that's it. It's your primer, it's the top coat, it's everything. Just put it on nice and thick, just with that body chutes gun, and you get a nice good result with it. Pretty basic, just point and shoot. I mean, working overhead, I guess you could put some goggles on or a full face mask if you want, keep the stuff off your face, but hey, I'm not a princess, I'm not too worried about getting a bit of a splatter here and there on me. This stuff's also going to be providing a bit of sound deadening as well, so basically the thicker you put it on, the more sound deadening properties. So if you get stones and rocks and stuff spitting up off the road, it's going to protect against that, and it's also going to stop from rattling around inside the cabin, and say if you're driving on a dirt road or something like that. So there you go, I just loaded it up on that area where the spare wheel well goes, just really nice and thick. I mean, if you wanted to, you could just keep pumping it on, just wait for maybe half an hour or something, just keep putting more and more on if you like, but there's probably not much need for any more than 2 coats. All I ended up doing was just 1 big, thick, heavy coat, and I decided that was going to be enough. But anyway, that's that job done. As you can see, I just did a bit of light masking, and all I really used was a bit of cardboard for the rest of it, and I was able to keep it away from most of the areas that I didn't want. Those stone guard guns are pretty good, they don't get too much all over the joints, so you may be getting the idea of what's actually happening here. I've taken the diff out, and as you come up further, I'm just taking more and more stuff out. I ended up calling up the licensing centre and asking what it's going to take to get this car registered, and they sent out a 10-page document that I had to fill out just to get all the mods approved, and that's just a pre-approval, so I could do them all, and then find out that they knocked me back on my licensing, and I decided, you know what, this is going to cost me thousands and thousands of dollars, and I ended up just deciding to take all the good parts off this thing. I bought another VL Commodore, just a standard one, stock as a rock, granny spec, which I'll show you guys in a minute. I'm pulling the engine out of this, so I'll probably end up putting that turbo, all that good exhaust that I've got. I've got the nice wheels, I've got the full body kit. I'll take all the panels off it and basically just gut it. So it's just going to be a bare shell, and then the scrap metal guys, they can come in, take the shell, goodbye. Yes, it's a little bit of a waste of time putting that boot floor in, but you know what, the way I'm looking at it now, that video that I made is up on YouTube. It's going to be there forever. The methods that I use still stand. Whether or not this car is ever going to be on the road again, which I doubt it ever will be on the road, but that's not a big deal. I'm not too worried. I think I've made the right decision. As you can see, I've even chopped that radiator support panel off. That's a panel that when you get into an accident, which happens quite common, it's a panel that may come in use. And look, it wasn't really a very good condition car. I'll tell you guys what happened with this thing. I bought it on eBay. I didn't realise, I was new to eBay, didn't realise that you cannot actually remove your bid. It seemed like a good idea when I was sitting in bed one morning thinking about doing up a race car similar to the XF, and the next day I decided, you know what, that thing looks like it's, you know, seen better days, so I thought I'll just remove my bid. Didn't realise that you couldn't. So look, all in all, it had some killer parts on it, all the drop tank and all stuff like that, you know. Basically, if I was going to turn this one you're about to see into what I'm going to, I would probably have to spend around the amount of money that I ended up buying the other one for anyway. So probably cut even at the end of the day. And you look at this thing, it's granny spec as stock as a rock. Even got that sun visor in the rear windscreen. Owned by a elderly couple in their 60s or something. They probably owned it since brand new. Yes, it's got high kilometres on it, but this is a very big state over here in WA. They're probably country miles, so it's probably just cruising at, say, 2,000 or 3,000 RPM on a highway. It's been kept up to with all the service history and stuff like that. You open up that bonnet and it just looks like it's been very well looked after. I reckon it would have been a garage car as well, because there's very little rust in it. All the spots that my previous one had rust, this one doesn't have rust in it. And out of these two, I'll definitely be able to make a beast. Even just stuff like on that other black one that I had, the rear parcel shelf had 6x9s put in it. So to put them in, some people used to just get some tin snips or an angle grinder and just cut into the parcel shelf. That is actually a roadworthy item, so I'd have to put a new parcel shelf in it. And it just all ended up adding up, and I just decided, you know what, it's not even worth fixing. And yeah, I found this one. I got it for $2,200. It's registered on the road. Same engine. All I need to do is bolt my turbo up to it. You know what? I might even end up, when I've got that other engine out, just doing some work to that other engine, and then just end up putting it in here, get it going real nice. So there you go. It's a little gem. I'm quite happy with it. Drives nicely. Needs a little bit of looking at the steering. The front end, it's a little bit loose, but I'm sure just a few bushes or something should tighten that up a bit. But hey, I've got all those parts off the other ones, so out of the two I'll definitely be able to make a nice VL. I'm going to end up having to paint that boot because I've got the different boot trim as well. So another thing I was going to mention is I'm even throwing around the idea of doing some crazy candy on it. But hey, you guys could be what ends up changing my mind. If you guys really think it would be a good idea to do a candy on it, let us know. If I get enough people telling me to put a candy on, I'll probably just do it. You know, spend that little bit of extra money, get some Mad DNA candy and put it over the top. Flow coat it and just make it look a mad looking street VL. So there you go. It's even got the original owner's manual with it. Most cars don't, you know, most cars are nearly 30 years old. A couple of years it'll be 30 years old. It's an 87 model. We've got a little bit of light rust in there, but nothing too bad. That'll be able to be repaired without doing the entire section like I did on the previous one. I'll just grind all that back, treat it, and happy days. So yeah, there you guys go. That's just about finishing up this episode. Stay tuned for the continuation of the VL Turbo project. You guys will be updated as I move along and progress with it. It works out quite well for me because I'm just doing bits and pieces here and there. It gives me the time to edit it. So now I've got my own workshop. I just do it in between jobs. And if you'd like to check out the previous job that I did, that was the XF Falcon. If you missed out on that one, check out these. See how far along I've come along with making videos and stuff like that. Thanks for watching, and this has been another Gunman production. Goodbye.